This is How to Get Your Shit Together with me, Sue Wright. So my days these last few weeks have been filled with planning and scheming and plotting, which if you listen to any of my podcasts, you know I'm quite big on planning and scheming. However, this is a new one for me because I don't actually have a goal in mind that I'm aiming towards. And I'm going to hold my hands up and I'm going to say I am as guilty as the next coach of saying to you, well, you know, look and plan for your dreams and put all the steps in place and create a vision board and yada, 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 bloody yada. Which is all well and good if you have a goal that you're aiming for. Now, as you may or may not have heard on my previous podcasts, when I first started, I had a clear goal. I was working towards a vision. Everything went completely tits up, and that goal is no longer there. However, I feel that just sitting doing nothing and wallowing and sort of just sloshing around in my own thoughts isn't really a healthy place to be. I do need to personally be working towards something. But as I said, it's a bit trickier at the minute because I don't know what that something is. So what you do when you really haven't got a clue, when you haven't got a goal or a dream or a scheme or a plan, and you feel like you're sloshing around in your own thoughts, what I would suggest you do is do what I've been kind of doing a little bit of, which is working kind of from the negatives backwards. So what I do is I look around at what's going on in my life at the minute and I think about the things I do not want. So I do not want to have no money. I do not want to have no clients. I do not want to have to rely on other people. I do not want to be parking my motorhome on caravan sites forever and always, etc., etc. I don't want to be stiff. I don't want to feel my energies all over the place. So it's looking at the negatives to try and come up with some form of moving positively. I'm not going to say moving forwards because I don't really know if I am moving forwards. I'm certainly treading water with the intent of taking a step. But it's really, really tricky. When you don't know what you want to be or do when you grow up, it's bloody hard to try and get your head straight. So look at what's negative. So for me, for example, looking at I need to have an income and you know, I want to have more clients. So I don't want to have no clients. I don't want to have no money. So that means I do need an income and I do need clients. So I've kind of got a few pointers for my plan there. I do have clients. I do have money coming in. So that's fine. But, you know, more would be great because then that leads into I don't want to be parking my motorhome on a caravan site forever and always. Therefore, by that means need to be looking at what I do want from it. So maybe I need a little bit of land of my own to park it on. Who knows? Maybe that will lead to a business. Who knows? Maybe I need to have the passive income or the income from other stuff to allow me to travel the world. Hurrah! So you see what I mean? It's looking at what you don't want, flipping it so it becomes a positive, so what you do want, because then that will clarify. Okay, that will clarify where you want to go with things. I personally work with a lot of remote clients, which is where I want to focus my energy. I did nearly get sucked into, and this is something to be aware of, when you're creating or when you're trying to be reactive out of panic or a sense of lack or a sense of urgency, I think I've said this before, often you can make the wrong choices. So I nearly spent money on a business networking thing, but that would have fixed me to the local environment. And it didn't feel comfortable, it didn't feel right, and I couldn't put my finger on it. So I made myself sit down and work through it. And it was because, again, that's fixing me to one location, which is something at this moment in time I'm reluctant to do. Don't get me wrong, I like being here. I'm close to family. That's all cool. I like that. However, that is not where I need to direct my energy. I'm going to do that to a degree, but not committing a lot of money to it. You know, I am going to look at getting local clients, which will then they can easily become remote clients, if that makes sense. So if you haven't got a clue what you want to do when you grow up, sit yourself down and just have I can't remember the writer's name, a conscious complaining session is what it was called, and sit and complain about everything that's crap, that's you don't like, that you don't want, that's bugging the hell out of you. Have a conscious complaining session and write it all down. Yeah, write it all down, everything that's bugging you, and see which bits you can flip. Keeping it all stored up and not saying anything, even just to yourself, because you feel you shouldn't complain because life's pretty peachy. Tough, it doesn't matter. If it's bugging you, it's bugging you. It's worth addressing. Interestingly, by the way, if you're holding on to things that aren't sitting well with you, you're not saying things even to yourself, it can lead to kind of tension around the throat or sore throats, because your throat chakra is you speaking your truth. So it's you being honest. Now, whether that's honest with somebody else or honest with yourself, it can lead you to become, like I say, quite kind of constricted around the throat. I think it's quite interesting. You might think it's a load of baloney, but hey. But yeah, conscious complaining. Sit and complain to yourself about everything you don't like. Write it down. Pay attention to it. Then look at it with that off your chest, feeling a bit better. Have a look at it. Start to make your plan. Yeah, start to move forward. If, like me, you maybe don't know where you want to be or how your life wants to look, what do you need now? What do you need to help you gain clarity? What do you need to put in place? What isn't working for you at the minute? What can you get rid of? What can you do? Yeah? So, conscious complaining, write it down, address it, or just start to think about the negatives and work forwards from there. You don't need to have a plan. Just because other people have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or a yearly plan or a monthly plan doesn't mean you have to. But don't do what I have been a little bit guilty of. Not every day, but some days I've been guilty of swimming around in my own misery. It's not misery, I haven't been miserable. But swimming around in my cloudy water, shall we say, where things aren't really clear what I want. Do that for a little while if you have to. But then start to make a point of looking at what is bugging you and why you're feeling that way. Anyway, I hope that helped, as always. I am going to be putting on some Zoom group coaching sessions soon. In the waffle that goes along with this podcast, I will put in my email address. Because it's on Zoom, it will be GMT, so British time. But it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're welcome to join me. And it's just going to be group coaching, nothing really specific. So no specific goals in mind. We'll work with what the group wants to work on. Okay, because it'll all be relevant, trust me. So I'll put my email address in. If you want to get in touch, that'd be lovely. If you've enjoyed this and you've got a spare 50 cents, 50 pence, whatever, I'll put my PayPal me link in as well. It'd be really, really appreciated. In the meantime, you take care and I will speak to you anon.